Why you should be Catholic and not just Christian. Have you ever wondered why some Christians are Catholic and others are not? Maybe you grew up Protestant, or maybe you don't really know much about Christianity at all. But you've probably heard of the Catholic Church. You know, the one with the Pope, the big cathedrals, and a bunch of traditions that might seem a little mysterious. So what makes it different? More importantly, why does it matter? In this video, I'll give you 3 simple reasons why you should be Catholic and not just Christian. Let's start with the most important question. Who started the church? Every church has a founder. Some churches were started by pastors in the last 50 years. Others go back a few hundred years. But the Catholic Church, it was started by Jesus Christ himself. When Jesus walked the earth, he didn't just come to teach nice things and then leave everyone on their own. He actually built something. He gathered 12 apostles, 12 men to lead his followers after he was gone. And he didn't just send them out randomly. He gave them authority to carry on his mission. The moment this happened is recorded in Matthew 16:18-19, when Jesus turns to one of the apostles, Simon, and says, "You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven." Now this might not seem like a big deal at first, but there are 2 huge things happening here. First, Jesus changes Simon's name to Peter, which means rock. That's significant because in the Bible, whenever God changes someone's name, it means he's giving them a special mission. Second, Jesus gives Peter the keys to the kingdom. In ancient times, when a king gave someone the keys to the kingdom, it means that they had the highest authority under the king himself. So what Jesus is saying here is clear. Peter, I'm giving you authority over my church. You will be the rock it's built on. And that's exactly what happened. Peter became the first leader of the church, the first pope. He led the early Christians, spread the faith, and eventually passed his leadership on to the next person, who passed it on to the next, and so on and so on. This wasn't just for a few years. This has continued for 2,000 years, from Peter all the way to the Pope today. That means the Catholic Church isn't just one denomination among many. It's the original Christian church that Jesus founded himself. No other church can claim that. But what about the Protestant Reformation? Now you might be thinking, wait, if Jesus started one church, why are there so many Christian churches today? For the first 1,500 years of Christianity, there was only one church. Sure, there were disagreements, but Christians were united under the same faith. That changed in 1517 when a Catholic monk named Martin Luther protested against corruption in church leadership. Now, to be clear, he had good reason to be upset. Some leaders in the church at the time were abusing their power, and that needed to be addressed. But instead of working to reform the church from within, Martin Luther broke away and started his own movement. And that's when things started to split. Luther's ideas inspired others to start their own churches. Suddenly, people couldn't agree on what Christianity should look like. Luther's movement led to more and more divisions. Today, there are an estimated 45,000 different Protestant denominations. Think about that. Jesus started one church, but now Christianity is divided into thousands of groups, all teaching different things. That raises an important question. Is this what Jesus wanted? In John 17:21, Jesus prays for his followers, saying, "Father, I pray that they may be one, just as you and I are one." Jesus wanted unity, not division. He didn't want people splitting into different churches with different teachings. He built one church, and he made sure it would last. The Catholic Church is that church. It has stayed together for 2,000 years, teaching the same faith that the apostles preached. Now let's talk about the second reason, the church itself. The word Catholic actually means universal. It's the church for all people everywhere. This isn't a new idea. As early as 107 AD, Christians were already calling the church Catholic. One of the first Christian leaders after the apostles, St. Ignatius of Antioch, wrote, "Where the bishop is, there let the people be. Just as where Jesus Christ is, there is the Catholic Church." This shows that the first Christians didn't see themselves as part of just any Christian group. They were part of one united, universal church, and that church still exists today. Across the world, you'll find Catholics in every country, every culture, every language. It doesn't matter if you're in Africa, Asia, Europe, or the Americas. The Catholic Church teaches the same faith everywhere. This is huge, because it means Catholicism isn't just one option among many. It's the original Christian faith meant for everyone. No matter where you're from or what your background is, the Catholic Church is your home. Now let's talk about the third reason, the most important reason of all, worship. More specifically, the Eucharist. Many Protestant churches see communion as a symbol, a nice way to remember Jesus, but that's not what Jesus said. In John 6:53-56, Jesus tells his disciples, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoever feeds on my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, for my flesh is true food, and my blood is true drink." And what happened next? Many of his followers walked away. They said, "This teaching is hard. Who can accept that?" But Jesus didn't call them back and say, "Wait guys, I mean it symbolically." No, he let them leave. Why? Because he meant it, literally. At the Last Supper, he took the bread and said, "This is my body. This is my blood." For 2,000 years, the Catholic Church has never changed this teaching. While many denominations have abandoned communion altogether, the Catholic Church continues to obey Christ's command, "Do this in remembrance of me." Because in the Eucharist, we don't just remember Jesus, we receive him. And if Jesus said, "Unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life in you," then wouldn't you want to be part of the church that takes him at his word? So let's recap. 1. Jesus founded one church, gave it authority, and called for unity, not division. 2. The Catholic Church is the historical church, not one founded by a German monk 1,500 years later. 3. The Eucharist is the real presence of Jesus Christ, and it has been at the heart of the church since the beginning. If you're a Christian, you already love Jesus. But if you want to follow him fully, if you want to be part of the church he founded, then I invite you to take a closer look at the Catholic Church. Because if it is true, wouldn't you want to be part of it?